Ayers from Hamilton County Schools. Today we are going to continue to look at the text we read yesterday. A young tinkerer builds a windmill electrifying a city. So what we're going to do today, well actually let's go ahead and look at our warm-up. Go ahead and answer this question. What type of writing was a young tinkerer builds a windmill? Be as specific as possible. How do you know? All right, so we can start pretty generally when we think about this question. It is nonfiction. It is a true story. We could think a little bit more specific. It's told like a story, so it is narrative nonfiction. It's not like a scientific article. It is a story, but it just happens to be a true story. So that makes it narrative, which means story, nonfiction, which is true. But it also tells the story of a specific person, which means it is a biography, okay? It would be an autobiography if the man wrote it about himself, which he did not. So when a nonfiction text tells a story, it is a work of narrative nonfiction, which we just said. And biographical writing is a type of narrative nonfiction in which the author tells about events in another person's life. So today we're going to be looking at the elements of biographical writing. And we're going to think about how the author included these elements in the text. So today we're going to be learning specifically about how the structure of the text, or the structure in this case of the biography, contributes to the development of ideas in the text. And that's important because if we can think about why an author chose to structure their text the way we did, we're going to be able to really understand it better. And that's our entire goal as readers. So the elements of a biography are, it has to be about a real life person who is the subject of the biography. In this case, it's about William Kamkwamba. It has to have factual information about the setting and the context, which this text has a lot of. It needs to have details and descriptions that help develop the subject's character so we can see who they are as a person. It's going to have direct quotations or a person's exact words. It could be the subject who does this, so we could get quotes from William Kamkwamba, or it could be other people that have a relationship with or significant knowledge of the subject. So it could be a family member, a close friend, or an expert, a historian, a scientist, something like that. And then it's going to use narrative pacing. So instead of being written like an article or something that's just there to give information, it is a way that people who write stories kind of control how the information comes out. Is there going to be suspense, or are we going to find out something at the end that might change our thinking? So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at specific elements of biographical writing and how they contribute to ideas. So we're going to start by looking at paragraph 8, which I'm going to read to you. Energy poverty, the scarcity of modern fuels and electrical supplies in poor parts of the world, is a subject of great interest to development economists. The windmill at the Kamkwamba family compound, a few brick buildings perched on a hill overlooking the village, has turned it into a stop for the curious. People trekking across Malawi's arid plains drop by. Villagers now regularly make the dusty walk up the hill to charge their cell phones. So which elements did this have? Well, it had relevant facts. It had information about the setting. Right, we got the description of Malawi and the plains. And I think there were some good descriptive details. So how did these things contribute to the idea? So I think it's really important that it gave the definition of energy poverty, because that and the facts about the setting together show why the windmill is important. If we didn't know why the windmill was important, we wouldn't care to read this. So that's a really important development of ideas. Also, most of us have never been to Malawi, so the descriptive details really enable the reader to picture the setting, right? Because we haven't seen Malawi before. All right, what I want you guys to do is go ahead and look through and find more examples of elements of the biography writing. I want you guys to find one more example right now, and then we're going to come back together. I'm going to share one of mine that I found, and then I will do an exit ticket. So pause me while you find another example. All right, hopefully you did some of this work. I'm going to choose paragraph 10. Sorry. So paragraph 10, which again, I will read to you. It says, Mr. Kamkwamba's wind obsession started 6 years ago. He wasn't going to school anymore because his family couldn't afford the $80 a year tuition. So what did this include? I said it included relevant facts about the context and description that develops the subject's character. So how does that contribute to the idea? So the fact that the family couldn't afford the tuition, which was relatively small, to us at least, helps build context for the setting, right? Because now we know kind of the situation that this family is in, right? They couldn't afford an $80 a year tuition. Similarly, the description of Kamkwamba, I have trouble spelling his name, Kamkwamba's response to not being able to go to college, school, shows who he is as a person, right? He is not someone who gives up. All right, guys, to show me that you understand this, what you're going to do now is you're going to do this work with paragraph 15, which I'm going to read to you. It says, our lives are much happier now, Mrs. Kamkwamba says. So what elements does that include? I'll tell you, this one really only has one. And then how does that contribute to the development of ideas? It's important to remember that good readers consider what structure the author used in their writing and why they used that structure. How did that structure help them get their ideas across? That's going to help us understand what we're reading, which is the whole point. So just a reminder, do this paragraph 15 as an exit ticket, and then have a wonderful rest of your day.